All right, so we're here with you as a first timer to this Bermuda race on the, let's see the hat, the zigzag, right?
Zigzag.
Which is the J122. And I think the noteworthy news for us on the event side is that not only did you guys have a killer race, but you nipped, the difference between you and Callista was here a couple days ago was what?
15 seconds.
All right, ready? Let's pause. That amount of time, right?
It's
crazy,
amazing.
Huh?
Amazing.
Yeah. So tell me quickly about the program and break your race down for us, quick.
Yeah, so we started, a buddy of mine from college, basically got the boat the year before the pandemic. So she'd been dry throughout all of that, and then we had a little bit of a frustrating start last year with a couple of cancellations. So this is kind of our first season. You know, we've done localized block, vineyard, races like that. Really looking to put together a program where we can learn a ton. Recognizing that we started early sailing, but we've been off family and work for a long time. Found a couple of just frankly fantastic guys to bring on board that were both great sailors and great coaches, and they really helped put the program together. And it's been soup to nuts rebuild of the 122, you know, strip it all down, build it all back up, kind of hot rodded the boat is the way I like to describe it to people. Learned a ton in the process, and just really, I think we've got a good platform to keep going. We're very excited.
How about the race? Let's break it down in the stages for you guys. The highlights and the lowlights.
I think, like, you know, we really we kept after it. We had a guy, Guinness Gunnerman, as navigator, just fantastic. Really, you know, stayed true to his plan. Absolutely wanted to be east of the rum line. You know, carried that through. Kept absolute focus on speed. You know, and a couple of really good strategies. I mean, that it wasn't much more complicated than that, but just get after it and get after it. And I think we probably pushed as hard, you know, as we could, certainly. And I think in the end, those seconds kind of come through.
What is pushing hard on the J122? What is you know, like, what is that limit that you have not yet found?
We're still figuring it out for sure. But you know, you push the stuff to the braking limit, right? You take it as far as you can on every turn, on every block, on every tack. You know, and you just go, and that's. I think that, you know, that boat's an interesting one because it can kind of take it, but at the same time, you know, you want to know where you can go, right?
And just in terms of like sailing, you know, just high speed sailing in the boat, what's it like when it's at that limit? I imagine like you had for the first couple days.
I'd never been as fast as we went. You know, I mean, somebody said I wasn't on deck, but I heard we hit 20. You know, but consistent 17, 18, like that's faster than I've been in that boat. That's probably faster than that boat's ever been. So it was a, you know, when it starts to drop and you're doing 12s and you're bummed out and you're used to sailing in the Long Island Sound, like this is
not Long Island Sound anymore.
This is fantastic. This is champagne sailing of a different sort.
And so you're rolling the boat. What is it other than owning it and hot rodding it?
Check rating.
Check rating, obviously.
Yeah.
And what do you do primarily on the boat?
So you know, I obviously I drive. I drive as much as I can, but we split that up very much, shared across the crew. We, you know, other than we have we sail with 7, 2 pros, 5 regulars. So the 5 of us just split it, you know, across all the watches. And then, you know, I run around and help out where I can. I mean, very much admittedly, I've designed this so that pretty well everyone's better than I am. And that's the same way I build my business. Like, I want guys that I can learn from.
Yeah. Guys
or gals that I can learn from.
Yeah. So at least, what's your business?
So I'm in private equity,
okay.
Invest in small companies, you know, and really try to develop those. And again, I try to pick people where I can learn from them.
And that's all about the data and precision, right? And I'm assuming you're a data guy.
I'm a data guy, and again, you know, we've got guys that are even more so, and they love to chop it up. And we're really, I think that's an area where we can really go a lot further, because frankly, we're just now running the stuff on the boat. Like, we haven't even gotten to the point where we can really do some strategic modeling around that, but I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think, and then that's the other thing we're saying that really excites me about the program is we've done pretty well, but there's tons of room for improvement. and just getting there myself and getting better. And I think I'm super excited about that part.
So what are some of the things that, I know you've got a lot of time to, or you haven't had a lot of time to process, but things that you think you can do better personally, or things that you learned, things that you want to do better next time?
Look, I think we got a little bit of a break because it was a dry race. It wasn't as wet. You know, we could be better set up down below for sure. I think people could have ended up a lot more tired and miserable, you know, had the conditions been less favorable. And I think that definitely would have impacted our performance because it has to. But we didn't have any of that. We can definitely improve upon that. I think the other thing that I really focus on is picking the right guys that can work together. Picking a team and thinking about, you know, talks too much, talks too little. You know, kind of that balance is super important to me. And I think we've done pretty well with that. I would say, you know, I could just use more practice. Like, I mean, I could just use straight up more practice, and just getting more time on the water will improve all around.
You gotta stop working then. Right?
Gotta stop working. Gotta stop working. We got a ways to go yet, but you gotta stop working.
But so to that crew point, I understand that you did have a last minute change because of the COVID. So that does create this sort of, all of a sudden you get the chemistry is different. What happened there?
We had a guy that couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So we brought in, and frankly, we've got one of our guys that's really helped us build the program. You know, Marty Coleman was instrumental in finding a navigator, just a top flight navigator that I think he knew would fit. It had the talent straight up, but knew he would fit sort of the mojo of the boat. And you know, he was able to swoop in. He's highly analytical, but a great coach and quiet. Like, you kind of couldn't find a better guy. And so that was definitely a bit of luck. He happened to be available because he'd been in retirement during the pandemic. Otherwise, and so we were able to yank him in.
Amazing. And how many days before?
How many days on board?
No, how many days before the race did you call to say?
A week.
Yeah.
A week. I mean, his first day on board was the first day of the race. So,
That's awesome.
so, which I guess. So I mean, to your point, there's a lot of luck here. Like, this is, you know, there's a lot of talent, but it takes more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what made you go to want to do this race anyway? I mean, are you tiptoeing through the coastal races, as was the Bermuda race long been on your checklist?
I think Bermuda's long been on my checklist because it's the race people talk about. You know, I've been in the community for a long time. It's the race people talk about the most. It's funny because I've been asked by a couple of our guys, you know, what's the long-term plan here? And I'm starting to formulate it a little bit. I think for me, it's going to be more about sort of great sailing and using that as a vehicle to see the world. So I don't know that I'm going to be the guy that does Bermuda 5 or more times. I think I'm going to be the guy, hopefully, that gets around and gets to do a lot of great races all over.
Something bigger, yeah.
I think that's what excites me, and that's what gets interesting, and I think that's fantastic for the family, and just keeping them involved and getting them more involved. I have 2 young daughters, a 12-year-old, both super interested in sailing. Not quite ready for this, but I think that down the road maybe.
Yeah, I was on the dock last night with the Mud Rats kids game, and it was so cool to see as a 15-year-old, and her mom was on the dock, and she just was like just gushing of how cool it was, the experience. And they got the ship, you know,
right,
French, but like,
right.
She was just generally amazed by it, which was really cool. And yeah, obviously important to bring
kids
the kids
step
on board.
up.
Yeah,
It's such a growth experience for them, and it even surprises me as a parent. You think, oh, I know them so well. You don't.
Yeah.
You know, but when they get tested, they really step up.
Yeah, that's awesome. So your thoughts, though, going into this first race of yours, you always have, everybody has preconceived notions of what's going to happen. What were you thinking?
I was thinking we had a shot to do well within the class. I didn't foresee, necessarily doing quite so well within the fleet. I think, I was interested just to see how I would do personally. Getting through and across the stream, and everyone talks about kind of it's a 3-segment race or 3 races within one. I wanted to see how I would do there. I'm generally pretty happy. I mean, I think it just kind of getting used to and getting in mode for this kind of racing was a big test for me, and I think it worked out.
And that's what I'm getting a sense this is just a start. It's turning in your head. I know.
You have it go this well this early, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be an addiction. I mean,
be careful of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Zigzag. What's the name?
So zigzag, it's got to be a double entendre, right? So and we all know how boats move through the water, but my path through life has been very much required zigzagging. You know, I've definitely hit a lot of blocks and had to take a turn.
Cool. And okay, so final question: when you finished, you finished in the middle of the night, right? Or
we finished about 9:30 Monday night.
Monday night.
Maybe 10:30 here.
Yeah. So knowing how close you were and looking at the results, what was the first thing you guys thought, or what was the discussion on the boat?
I think we're very, very happy with the result. But of course, you know, you could pick up time across the course, and that's I do enjoy that. That's the improvement piece. That's the, you know, there's so much more that we can do, and that gets me excited too.
So I know it's 2 years from now. It's early, but and you said you want to go bigger, but you got to come back to the Bermuda race and see if you can get those 15 seconds back.
Yeah, it's hard to come in second.
Yeah. Enough said, right? Yeah. Excellent. Well, cool.
Thank
Great sailing. Good to meet you. And
Great to meet you.
Congrats on a great race.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.